she refused or wasn't allowed to resign initially, well, she lost her job. The panel asked her if she had any regrets.
Of course, I have regrets. I mean, the idea that Millie Dowler's phone was accessed by someone being paid by the News of the World, or even worse, authorised by someone at the News of the World, is as abhorrent to me as it is to everyone in this room. And it is ultimate regret that the speed in which we have found out and tried to find out the bottom of this investigations has been too slow. I think James and Rupert both accepted that earlier, and we are endeavouring, or they are endeavouring now, I've left the company, to continue to investigate. But of course there are regrets.
Now, lawmakers asked the Murdochs if they had been coached for their hearings. Certainly it is known that they had received or employed PR advisors. James Murdoch said the only advice they'd been received was to tell the truth. Well, our panel will give us the view on whether they saw any coaching. Alison is with us. Alison Stewart-Allen, marketing and corporate diplomacy expert. Alison, what did you think? Did they seem coached?
It's hard to tell. I'm in two minds about certainly Rupert Murdoch's performance today, if we look at it as a performance. The fact that he took a long time to answer, that he had short one or two word answers a lot of the time, the fact that he seemed to not be able to remember quite a lot, gave the impression of an older gentleman in his 80s who's on the other side of his successful career, and it did appear that he was looking a bit vulnerable. So I do actually think that based on what I saw today, they'd certainly been coached, and it appeared to me that he was sticking to what he'd been taught, which is don't give a lot of answers and don't be too forthcoming, and maybe look a little bit vulnerable as well.
Right.
Were lawmakers tough enough in their questioning and cross-examination? Well, we assembled a panel of experts to weigh in on the outcome of today's hearings. This is what they said.
They were nervous at the beginning, and there was some uncertainty, and the son was attempting to cover up for the father.
One of the things that's really interesting about what we've heard today from both Rupert and James Murdoch is two executives who appear to be profoundly hands-off in the running of a global enterprise. Any advice I would give a client who is an international company about appearing before a parliamentary committee would be to be on top of the facts.
And the interesting thing was, here was Rupert Murdoch in front of a British parliamentary committee. Rupert doesn't do interviews. He's never given evidence to a parliamentary committee. But normally he would be like the Pope. He would give an audience to a journalist who was at his knees.
Probably the lasting image of today will be Rupert Murdoch being snuck in at the back of number 10 by various prime ministers. Not his choice, and I think he was utterly believable on that, but the decision of prime ministers to hide the influence that he wields, as after the election they call on him to thank him for his support.
On a couple of occasions I saw Rupert Murdoch sort of reach out and grab his son's arm, which implied to me, no son, I'm in control and in charge, be quiet.
I don't think the public will be satisfied, not so much with the questions asked, but the answers, because there was an extraordinary disconnect between what really goes on in newspapers and the way the two senior executives of News International were talking about it, of News Corp, were talking about it, the grubby business of getting news.
All right, reaction there to today's testimony from our panel of guests assembled, listening throughout what was 5 hours worth of questioning of the Murdochs first, and then, of course, of Rebecca Brooks.